Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the News Today discussion for 10th of March. My name is Anuj and I will be taking today's session. In today's session, we will be covering 4 main news and 6 quick update and 1 place in news. In main news, we will be covering about the digital footprint for ease of doing business in India as the first main news. Then we will be learning about environmental clearances as the new bodies has been proposed to curb delay in environmental clearances. Then we will be learning about natural farming as NITI Aayog has released a report on natural farming. Then we will be learning about care economy as the Honorable Prime Minister have highlighted the growing importance for care economy in India. Then we will be briefly covering 6 quick update and 1 place in news in between. For today, we will be covering Malawi in place in news. So this is a brief about today's session. Let us discuss and start with the first news. What is the first news for today? In the first news, we will be learning about the digital footprint for ease of doing business in India. It is related to paper 2, where syllabus talks about important aspect of governance, transparency and accountability. It is also related to paper 3, where syllabus talks about economic development. So let us start and discuss this news. So first of all, what is the background for this news? So the background is that in the recent year, several digital initiatives have been undertaken by the government of India, which are playing a key role in improving ease of doing business in India. So what is the meaning of this ease of doing business? And what is ease of doing business index? And is it still released by World Bank? That is the first question which should be there in your mind. So before 2021, ease of doing business index was released by World Bank. In 2024-25, this report name and its procedure has been changed. Now the report name is Business Ready. Okay, so that is the new name for the index of ease of doing business, which have been released by World Bank. So you should know about this index and what are the changes. Now let us come to the first question. What is the meaning of ease of doing business? So suppose you are an entrepreneur and you want to start a business in India. How easily and effectively you can start and run that business will come under ease of doing business. In this news, we will be covering about all the aspect as an entrepreneur, how you can start your business, get clearance from the government and other aspect. So let us start with the first aspect, that is how to register the business and how there will be regulation. So what are the digital initiative for that? So individually they can come in the examination, like what for this initiative or what for this digital initiative is there for. So first of one is MCA 21 version 3. What is this MCA 21? Ministry of Corporate Affairs. And what is this 21? For the 21st century. That is the full form of it, and it is a AI driven platform for end-to-end registry services. So if you start a business, you have to register it, and for that registering there is a digital platform, that is MCA 21 version 3. That is the latest version for MCA 21. Then there is other Spice Plus form. It consolidates 10 essential procedure of 3 ministries, central ministries, as well as it is applicable in 3 states. I think those are Karnataka, Maharashtra and West Bengal, and also it is applicable in NCT Delhi. So there will be a consolidated 10 essential process that will include DIN, PAN, 10 and into a single web form. It consolidates 3 ministries as well as ministries from the Karnataka, Maharashtra, West Bengal and NCT of Delhi. Okay. Then there is Udyam portal for MSMEs registration. So for effectively registering the MSMEs, that is micro, small, medium enterprises, there is a portal that is Udyam portal. Then for clearance and for environmental approval, there is Parives 3.0. Okay, it uses the AI and GIS based land banks for streamlining the environment and the forest clearance. So suppose you are doing any business, you will require environment as well as forest clearance. For providing them or for doing them, government has a portal that is called as Parives. Okay, then there is E-Gram Swaraj as well. It is for tracking development of fund utilization at the level of Gram Panchayat. Okay, so anyone can track that how the funds are being utilized at the level of Gram Panchayat through a portal that is E-Gram Swaraj portal. Okay, so it brings transparency as well as accountability. Now let us move further and look at the other initiatives which are there. One of which is for taxation and trade facilitation, and in this there is GSTN as well as e-way bill. Previously, if you want to transport one product to the other state, then there used to be a very cumbersome process where you have to take permission from every state. But after this e-way bill, you can take a single application or a single form to transport the product, and it has seen that e-way bill have grew by 21%. And then there is GSTN. It automated the tax ecosystem by handling 102 lakh crores in payment. Then we have threads as well. They are basically for MSMEs. They were discussed in the union budget as well. So that's why they become very important for this year prelims examination. This thread, they are regulated by RBI. Such type of facts are important for prelims examination. Threads are regulated by RBI and they provide an electronic platform which facilitate trade receivable discounting for MSME liquidity. So it's very simple. Suppose I am MSME and I am giving some service to a large corporate, but it provide me with the invoice and that I will pay the money in 60 to 90 days. At that time, I can submit it to some financial intermediary such as bank. They will provide me with the money and later on they will take money from the large enterprises such as central enterprises. That is the basic meaning of threads. They were discussed in the budget as well. That's why they become very important. They are regulated by RBI. Then for logistic and market access, there is PM Gati Sakti, and it uses spatial planning data to reduce the logistic cost and improve the last mile connectivity. Till recently, the logistic cost of India was very high. It was around 13%, and government was aiming to bring it down to below 10%. But if you look into the recent report of the government is saying that it has come down to 7.9% of GDP, which is a success for the government. Then this also talk about the digital public infrastructure. So basically you know about physical infrastructure and any infrastructure or infrastructure in the form of digital, that will be known as digital public infrastructure. It includes UPI, which facilitate massive transaction volumes, and there are unified interfaces such as APIs which act as bridge, enabling the seamless data flow from various ministries to other ministries. So this was about the various initiative. Let us look at the numbers. These numbers are basically important for your mains examination and not that important for prelims. They are not that important for prelims, but when you will be writing your mains, you will have to support your point with specific data. For that, this data is given. Let us go through them in a very quick time. First of all, the National Single Window Clearance System has granted more than 8 lakhs approval since its launch. Then we have discussed about MCA 21. It has recorded approximately 3.8 crores filing in the last 5 years. Then Udyam portal, which was there for MSME's registration. Okay, it has facilitated 7.7 crore registration, supporting around 34 crore jobs. Then GSTN platform, which has processed about 103 lakhs crores in payment. And lastly, Government e-marketplace has recorded 4 lakhs crore orders value in FY26 till February 2026. So this is the data regarding the various initiatives which we have covered in last 2 slides. So this data is important for your mains examination when you will be substantiating your point with a particular data. So this was all in this news. Now let us discuss a PYQ which is related to this news. We will be discussing 2 PYQ related to this news, and we will be focusing more on PYQ of prelims examination as prelims is approaching, and you have to have faith in yourself to clear prelims examination. Now let us discuss the first prelims PYQ, that is, consider the following countries: UAE, France, Germany, Singapore and Bangladesh. These are the 5 countries. And how many countries amongst the above are the other than India where international merchant payment are accepted under UPI? We have discussed about UPI. At that time, the UPI was accepted in the 7 countries. But if you go through the today's news, now it is accepted in the 8 countries. At that time means when this question was asked, it was accepted in the 7 countries. Now it is accepted in 8 countries. But here our question is that it demand that in how many countries it was applicable at that time. So it was applicable, or it is applicable at presently as well in UAE. So it was applicable in France as well. It is not applicable in Germany and Bangladesh. It is applicable in Singapore. So the answer will be B, only 3. It's a very simple question, and the answer is only 3. B option is the correct answer. Now let us move to the next question. Next question is from the year 2017, and question is, what is or are the most likely advantage of implementing goods and services tax? We have discussed a lot about GSTN in this news, and the question is here about the GST, and the options are: it will replace multiple taxes collected by multiple authorities and will thus create a single market in the India. If you know a little about GST, then you will know that this is a correct statement. Then second statement, it will drastically reduce the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase its foreign exchange reserve. How GST is related to current account deficit or the forex exchange reserve? Although GST has increased the ease of doing business in India, but it does not imply that it will reduce or drastically reduce the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase the foreign exchange reserve. It's an extreme statement. That's why it will become incorrect. Then third, it will enormously increase the growth and size of the economy of India and will enable to overtake China in the near future. Okay, if there is the half statement is given that it will increase the growth and size of the economy, we can think that it is correct. But second part of the statement is that it will enable us to overtake China in the near future. That cannot be said. Okay, that's why this statement become incorrect. Then the answer will be A1 only. So you can see what kind of questions are coming from the economics. Now let us move to the next news for today. The next news is related to environmental clearance. And what is the context? The context is that the government has proposed new bodies to curb the delays in environmental clearance. It is related to paper 3, where syllabus talks about sustainable development. Now let us discuss this news in detail. First of all, what is the development and what is the background for it? Why government has proposed new bodies for clearance? There was already bodies for environmental clearance. So why government is proposing new bodies? So what government has noticed that at the state level, there was not constitution of the environmental clearance bodies. So they have to promote or they have to establish the standing authority on environmental impact assessment and standing committee on environmental impact appraisal to fast track the environmental clearance. As there was no bodies or there was delays in the bodies for environmental clearance at the state level, so there was a delay in the project. And even if the state government was passing for the environmental clearance, they were sending in bulk to the central government. At that time also, it was very difficult for the central government to appraise the each and every project when the project passes is required in the bulk number. So that was the requirement. That is not that important for us. But these two bodies, what is EIA of 2006 and how these bodies will have or better impact on the environmental clearance, that is there in this news. So both the bodies will be constituted in accordance with the Environmental Protection Act of 1986, and their need have arises as there was delayed reconstitution of the state environmental impact assessment authorities. Okay, so these bodies were there for environmental clearance in the state government, but there was delayed reconstitution of these bodies. That's why there was delay in the environmental clearance, and that was impacting the overall growth. Because if there will not be any environmental clearance, there will be delay in the start of the project, or there can be issues such as without proper environmental clearance, there can be the start of the project that will hamper the environment. Otherwise, it will hamper the development as well. Okay, so that's why this ad hoc bodies, or that is standing authorities. Now let us discuss about the environmental impact assessment. So what is environmental clearance and what is environmental impact assessment? Let us discuss this and understand in simple language. So suppose you have to start a project, you will consider all the things, and when you consider its environmental impact, that means we are considering the environmental impact, and when we assess the environmental impact of it, that is known as environmental impact assessment. Let us understand it with an diagram. Suppose that is environment and this is time, and you are starting a project here, and if you are not doing EIA, it will impact the environment in negative way with time. And suppose you have considered the environmental impact of that project and you reconsider about its strategy, then you will make the development in such a way that it will hamper the environmental in a less way with the time. So this is project without EIA, and this is with EIA, and if there was no project. So this, okay, is this safeguard against the environment with the help of EIA. That is the basic meaning of environmental impact assessment. So basically environmental clearance process is governed by the environmental impact assessment notification of 2006. Okay, and EIA is a decision making tool that predict the environmental impact of a proposed project. We have discussed it here. Environmental impact of a proposed project and evaluate the alternative to identify the option with the best balance of the economics and the environmental cost and benefit. It includes the 4 stages. One is screening, then scoping, then public consultation, and then appraisal. Then there is monitoring as well. In screening, they will consider like if it is required at the environmental clearance is required at the central level or at the state level, and what type of clearance is required. Then in scoping, they will see what type of impact it will have. Then there will be public consultation, that there will be requirement that the public should be consulted before start of a project, and then there will be decision or appraisal, and lastly there will be monitoring. And under EIA, 2 categories of project are there. One, project A and project B. For project A, there will be clearance by the central government, by MOEF and CC, that is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And project B have to pass through by the state government, and in that there will be B1 and B2. For B2 there is no requirement of EIA. And this project was getting delayed because the state government was not reconstituting those bodies which were essential for providing the environmental clearance which are proposed under environmental impact assessment. So please be clear about environmental impact assessment, what it is, what are its steps, and what are the categories under this. Now let us move further and discuss about both the bodies which have been proposed. So first, the Standing Authority on the Environmental Impact Assessment. So what it will be and what are its functions? It will discharge the function of SEIAA if the SEIAA become non-functional. Okay, we have discussed about this body in the last slide. And one more thing, if SEIA fails to communicate its decision in a given time, the proposal is automatically forwarded to this body through the Parivesh portal. In the last news, we have discussed about Parivesh portal 3.0. Okay, so it is given here as well. Then second body is Standing Committee on Environmental Impact Appraisal, and it will be constituted by central government for each state and UTs, and it will discharge the function of State Expert Appraisal Committee whenever the SEAC is not functional. So these are the 2 bodies, okay, and they will be standing as Standing Authority on Environmental Impact Assessment and Standing Committee on Environmental Impact Appraisal. Now let us discuss PYQ related to this news. So the PYQ from the prelims is from the engineering services, which is also conducted by UPSC. Okay, so as the question is framed by UPSC, that's why we are discussing it, and it is related to environmental clearance only. The question is, environmental impact assessment is aimed to help one, estimate future need of the society, smooth implementation of the project. Okay, it won't be smooth. Otherwise, if it won't be there, it will be smooth, that we don't have to go through a additional process. So it won't be the answer. Then cope with the rapid increase in population, that will also not correct. Then the confusion will be between the estimate the future need of the society, as we have discussed that this is a sustainable development process and resource conservation. Okay, please read about this question. Answer will be resource conservation. And there was a question in the mains examination of civil services. The question was, how does the draft environmental impact assessment notification of 2020 differ from the existing EIA notification of 2006? Okay, at that time there was a lot of controversy regarding that notification, and I think it was taken back by the government as well. So that's why there was a question in the mains examination of 2020. Okay, now let us move to the next news for today. The next news is about the natural farming. And the context is that the NITI Aayog has released a report on natural farming. It is related to paper 3, where syllabus talks about agriculture. Let us discuss this news in detail. So first of all, the background. So NITI Aayog has published a report titled Empowering Farmers Through Natural Farming Training Toolkit and Best Practices Guide. So when I was going through this report, they have said that natural farming is a age-long tradition in India. It is mentioned in the Rig Veda. Okay, such type of question can come in the prelims examination. So Rig Veda mentioned about the agriculture or farming. Okay, even Lord Rama asked about the welfare of farmers to his brother Bharata. That is given in this report. Then they have also said in the Kautilya Arthasastra, there is one chapter particularly dedicated to farming. Okay, so such type of statement can come in the prelims examination. It is clearly mentioned in this report. Now let us move further and discuss what is natural farming actually. So basically, natural farming is a chemical-free, livestock-based farming system rooted in ecological principle. As it is clear from its definition itself, natural farming tried to mimic the natural ecological system. Okay, there will be no tillage, there will be no addition of chemical products, and there will be side by side livestock as well as trees. Okay, when you see a natural livestock, you will see plants, you will see animals, you will see no additional chemical products. That is natural farming. And it is different from organic farming. Please be clear. This natural farming relies on natural process occurring within and around the farms, eliminating the needs of external input, any type of input, and it does not include chemical units as well. That is clear. Whereas it distinguishes from organic farming, which permit the use of externally sourced certified organic fertilizers and biopesticides. Please be very clear that natural farming is different from organic farming. In natural farming, we are mimicking the natural ecosystem, whereas in organic farming, we are giving inputs which are organic in nature. Now let us come into the natural farming and discuss about its component. There are 5 components of it. One is Bija Amrit. So there is a seed, and for this seed, they will use cow dung, urine and live before sowing. So there will be less chance of infection to that seed and it will grow in a better way. Then the second is mulching. So they will in this component, there will be the creation of microclimate using mulches with straw, crop residue and biomass material. What does it mean? Okay, so in land they will leave the crop residue, biomass material or the straws naturally available so that a moisture can be maintained in that region. That is mulching. Then there will be plant protection. So it will involve sparing of biological pesticide which prevent disease and the weed problem and protect the plant and improve the soil fertility. The fourth component is Jiva Amrit. This process enhances the fertility of soil by using cow dung, flour of pulses and jaggery. So they will be added to the soil so that there will be the growth of microorganism and it will improve the fertility of soil. That is known as Jiva Amrit. And last component is Vapasa. And this process involves the cultivating aeration in the soil in order to enhance water vapor condensation. Okay, so that's why there will be the better passage of air and there will be the enhanced water vapor condensation. Okay, so these are the 5 components of natural farming. Those are Bija Amrit, mulching, plant protection, Jiva Amrit and Vapasa. Okay, so this is about natural farming. Okay, please be very clear. This method, it is given here, integrate crop, trees, animal to maximize biodiversity, thereby the maintaining environmental harmony. Okay, it involves the growth of trees, crops as well as animal rearing. And it is different from organic farming. Now let us move further and discuss about the benefit of natural farming. Suppose there is a question in the paper 3 mains examination that what are the benefit of natural farming? You all can write this. There will be economic benefit, there will be environmental and ecological benefit, there will be benefit to soil health and resilience, there will be health and nutritional security, and there is livestock integration, it will become more economically viable. But when you are writing the mains answer in the paper 3, there are chances that your answer become generic in nature. That's why you have to support those answers with data as well as with examples. So here, those type of data are given here. So first, what are its economic benefit? It reduces the paid out cost of cultivation by at least 5 to 10% across major crops and up to 20 to 55 crores in several cases, because it does not require additional pesticides and other chemical inputs. That's why it will reduce the paid out cost of cultivation. Then there will be environmental and ecological benefit, as it will lower the greenhouse gases emission by 55 to 85%, and it will also enhance the soil fertility without degradation of the soil. Then there will be the soil health and resilience. We have talked about it, as it will increase the soil organic carbon by up to 45% and boost the beneficial soil microorganism. We have discussed that how these soil microorganism will increase, as there will be addition of jaggery, there will be addition of flour of pulses. Okay, then there will be health and nutritional security, as it will protect the health of farmers and consumers by completely avoiding the synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. Okay, if you have gone through the farms, you might have noticed in some cases when farmers are applying the chemical products to their field, they are also affected. Their livestock are also affected, and consumer who are eating those crops is also affected. So it will benefit the farmers, it will benefit the livestock, as well as it will benefit the consumer. Then, as there will be livestock integration, it will become economical viable by integrating them directly into the agroecological farming system, where their bioproducts are utilized for on-farm input. Okay, we have discussed this in the last slides that cow urine and cow dung is used for Jeevamrit, okay, for cleaning and other providing biopesticides for the field. Okay, so this was all in this news. Now let us discuss one PYQ of the year 2021. Question is, how is permaculture farming different from the conventional chemical farming? So permaculture farming is one type of natural farming or regenerative farming. Let us discuss. Permaculture farming discourages monoculture practices, but in conventional chemical farming, monocultural practices are predominant. This is a correct statement, because in conventional farming, conventional chemical farming, there will be more preference for the monoculture as it is easy to maintain. But in permaculture, it discourages the monoculture practices. This is a correct statement. Then conventional chemical farming can cause an increase in soil salinity. You might have noticed this, that this issue is there when there is over irrigation. Okay, but the occurrence of such phenomena is not observed in the permaculture farming. Okay, this is also a correct statement. Then third, conventional chemical farming is easily possible in semi-arid region. Okay, that is not correct, because for chemical farming, there is a lot of requirement of water, and that cannot be provided easily. This statement is important. This word is important. It is not easily possible in semi-arid region, but permaculture farming is not so easily possible in the such region. In permaculture farming, there is conservation of water. That's why it is easily possible in such region. So it is a wrong statement. Then fourth statement is, practice of mulching is very important in permaculture farming. We have discussed this in the news, but not necessarily so in the conventional chemical farming. So this is an correct statement. Then answer will be 1, 2 and 4. So this was the PYQ from the year prelims examination of 2021. With this we have completed this news. Now let us move to the next news, and the next news is about the care economy. As PM has highlighted the growing importance of care economy, it is related to GS paper 1, where syllabus talks about social empowerment, and paper 3, where syllabus talks about economic development. So let us discuss about care economy. Suppose you are coming and you are studying, or you are studying at your home. Think how much care economy is making you productive, or making a economy productive. That is a simple question. Now let us discuss what is the meaning of care economy. So it encompasses all essential activities that maintain and support people and daily life, such as child care, elderly care and domestic work. So when you read this statement, you will automatically think about women performing these functions. That is the status of the care economy. And that is the reason it is recently studied by UN Women Data. In India, most of the unpaid care economy is done by women. In a single day, they allocate around 7.2 hours of their day for the care economy, whereas men dedicate only 2.8 hours. So they are negatively impacting. So it is negatively impacting the women growth. There are many reasons that women are not coming up as men, but this is one of the most important reasons, that they are mostly involved in the care economy. So for an average woman, her household work or her care economy work include in a single day around 7.2 hours. Okay, suppose you are reading for 10 to 12 hours in a day, and if you have to function a work, or you have to function in the care economy around 7 to 8 hours. So it will become very difficult for you for preparation of this examination. Similarly, for women, after performing such a long time in care economy, it becomes very difficult for them to become a part of productive economy. Productive economy simply means that economy which contribute towards GDP. This care economy which is unpaid is not included in the GDP. But care economy has both paid, so domestic workers or nurses, as well as unpaid, which is cooking, washing, childcare by women within the household. Okay, so that is about the care economy. Now let us move further in this news and discuss about the need for formalization for care economy in India. So, in the recent past as well, ILO discussed about the formalization of care economy in India. But it is difficult but not impossible. Why it is difficult? That how they will be paid, who will pay them? So such type of questions are very difficult to solve. So it is difficult but not impossible. So let us discuss what is the need for formalization of care economy in India. First of all, contribution to GDP. As we have discussed that the unpaid work in the care economy is not the part of GDP. So the economic value of women's unpaid domestic and care work is estimated to range between 15 to 17% of India's GDP, which is a high number. 15 to 17% of India's GDP. Please look how much agriculture contribute to the Indian GDP. Then you will think about its drastic nature. How much women are contributing in the unpaid work. Then demographic transition. So it is said that by 2050, our old age population, that is above 60%, will become about 21%. Presently, it is around 10%. And of the children's, here children are considered from 0 to 14. Presently they are 25%, but by 2050 they will constitute around 18%. So this 21%, 18%, that will be around 40%. So by 2050, around 40% of Indian population will require the care. So that is the meaning of second statement. Then it will boost the female labor force participation. Presently, it is at around 41%. According to the latest estimates, whenever you write answers, please be aware about the latest estimate. So, latest estimates are that the female labor force participation is around 41%. So, it is said that the unequal burden of care work is on women. We have discussed that in first slide. So it is represented by number that most of the work, around 81% women are involved or in the care works, and only 26% is done by men, which keep women out of paid workforce. We have understood with the example of studying in a single day in the last slide. Then it will create a massive job creation potential, as it is provided that the direct public investment equivalent to 2% of India's GDP could generate 11 million jobs in care economy, and in those 11 million jobs, around 70% will go to women. So this is about need for formalization of care economy, particularly in India. Now let us move further and discuss about the government initiative regarding the care economy. So first, government scheme such as central scheme which include Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0. You might have heard about Anganwadi. These are about education, and Poshan 2.0 is about nutrition. Then there is another scheme which is Mission Shakti. Shakti means empower or power. This is for empowerment of women. And it includes the Palna scheme to establish 17,000 new Anganwadi cum creches. Then there are programs like Atal Vayo Abhyudaya Yojana. It is there to support the elderly. Then the Union Budget of 2026-27 has announced a strategic initiative to train 1.5 lakh multi-skilled caregivers. So this recent budget has announced a strategic initiative to train around 1.5 lakh multi-skilled caregiver. And there are legislative mandate as well as the Maternity Amendment Benefit Act of 2017 has doubled the paid maternity leave to 26 weeks. Previously it was around for 13 weeks. So this amendment has doubled it to 26 weeks. So this was all about this news. Now let us discuss one PYQ related to this news. So the PYQ is from 2017 and it is about the Maternity Benefit Amendment Act of 2017. So which of the following statement is or correct regarding the Maternity Benefit Amendment Act of 2017? First, pregnant women are entitled for 3 months pre-delivery and 3 months post-delivery paid leave. So there is no such time frame in the Amendment Act. This become wrong. Then second, enterprises with crèche must allow the mothers minimum 6 crèche visit daily. So there is no such thing in this. There are around 4 visits that are mandated by the Act. So this is also a wrong statement. Then third, women with 2 children can get reduced entitlement. So it was there in the Act that after 2 births, there will be reduction in the entitlement. So this statement is correct. So the answer will be 3 only. So this was all this in this news. Now let us discuss place in news for today. So the place in news for today is Malawi. And the context is that the India has sent around 1,000 metric tons of rice to Malawi for drought relief. So that is the context. Whenever there is a place in news, you have to look at the map. So where this Malawi is located, it is located in the southeastern Africa and it is a landlocked country. It is here. And around 1/3 of its area, 1/5 of area is occupied by Malawi Lake. It is given here, Malawi Lake. There are other lakes as well, such as Malobe and Chilwa, but 1/5, that is around 20% of its area is occupied by this lake, Malawi Lake. Then also there are drought and India has sent around 1,000 metric ton of rice. It is a landlocked country. Okay, there are no port or connection to seas, and the neighboring countries are Mozambique. Mozambique is here. Then Tanzania, and the third country is Zambia. Then it has physiographical features as well, such as the Great Rift Valley. You should be aware about this Great Rift Valley. So you know how does a rift create. Okay, so here this plate, African plate, is moving this side and Somalia plate is moving that side, and there is one more plate, Arabian plate, that is also moving. So there is a creation of Rift Valley here. That is the part of Eastern African Rift Valley, and that is there is Great Rift Valley. There are Central Plateau, Highland region, as well as isolated mountains. And there are major lakes which we have discussed. Malawi we have discussed. Then there are other lakes as well, Molambe and Chilwa. So with this we have completed place in news as well as main news for today. Now let us discuss the quick update. And the first quick update is about the Kimberley process. You might have heard about blood diamonds. This is news is related to that only. So this year, India is heading this, and this is Genesis, Kimberley Process Genesis in Kimberley Process Certification Scheme was launched in the year 2006. And why this scheme or this process was launched? Because to prevent the trade in the conflict diamond or the blood diamonds. What are these conflict and blood diamonds? Basically, these are the diamonds, rough diamonds used by the rebel groups or their alliance to finance the conflict that undermine the legitimate government. Okay, so they mine these diamonds, they trade in them, and whatever finance they get through it, they try to undermine the legitimate government. That is the basic meaning of conflict or the blood diamonds. And this agreement is a tripartite initiative which involves government, international diamond industry, as well as civil societies. Okay, and what is its mechanism? Basically, it's mandate that all the international shipment of the rough diamonds carry a temperament KP certificate and allow trade only among the certified members countries. So that will stop the growth of the conflict diamonds. That is the basic aim of it, and it was about the first quick update for today. Now let us move to the next quick update. The next quick update is about coal gasification, and the context is that the Environment Ministry expert panel has declined an exemption to the minimum operational depth limit for underground coal gasification project, and this length is about 300 meters, and the permission or the exemption was asked by Ministry of Coal, but the Environment Ministry has declined for the exemption. This is the context. The context is not that important, but what is this coal gasification? That is important for your examination. So basically, it's a process which converts the solid coal into the synthetic gas using heat, pressure, and steam or oxygen rather than burning it directly. So here they are converting coal into a synthetic gas and they are not burning coal directly. That is the basic meaning of coal gasification. So it can be done underground as well. Okay, and the resulting synthetic gas or the syngas is primarily consist of carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide. And what is its significance? You might be aware that we import a lot of coking coal. And if we have this synthetic gas, then there will be reduction in the import of coking coal, which is required for the steel industry. So it will enhance the energy security and offers a cleaner alternative to traditional combustion with lower sulfur emission. You might be aware that Indian coal have the higher sulfurs. And that is about the second quick update. Now let us discuss the third quick update. The third quick update is about the CIPRI reports on the international arms transfer. It has said that there is increase, and it has released a report on trends on international arms transfer of 2025. Basically, it is an international independent body, and what are its key highlights? It has said that India was the second largest recipient of major arms, and the topmost country was Ukraine in the last 5 years. Ukraine, we all are aware that there is a war going on between Ukraine and Russia. So that's why Ukraine was the topmost importer and India was the second largest importer. And India accounts for around 8.2% of the total global arms imports. That is the first highlight. Secondly, that India's overall arms import has fallen by 4% between the year 2016 to 20 and 2021-25 periods. So it has given a positive side as well, that the total import of India is falling, And when we compare it from year 2016-20 to 2021-25, there is a decrease of 4%. That is due to Atmanirbharta in the defense sectors. And it has given about the top suppliers of India. Still, Russia was the topmost supplier, and then France, and then Israel. But it has said that there is a tilt towards West, where our importers is when we are shifting from Russia to the Western countries such as Israel, France, and USA. That has been shown in this report. Now let us move to the next news. The next news is about the exercise Lemaitre of 2026. Before 2 to 3 years, it was often seen that students used to prepare that the name of the exercise and which countries are participating in that exercise. But in year, I think 2023 or 24, there was a question when they have asked about the place where that exercise was taking place. Okay, and here the context is that the Indian Armed Forces contingent have arrived in CHL for the exercise Lemaitre. And it is a biennial joint military exercise conducted between India and CHL. This year, the exercise is there in the Seychelles. And this edition is the first tri-service participation from India. It's an important news that this year, 2026 edition, is the first tri-service participation from India in this exercise Lemaitre. Now let us move to the next quick update. The next quick update is about white phosphorus, and it is a disturbing news. And what is the context? The context is that the Human Rights Watch has claimed to have verified the use of white phosphorus, a chemical weapon by Israel in Lebanon. That also in a residential area, not in a militant area or military area, but in a resident area. That is the disturbing part of it. In this news, we will be covering about the white phosphorus. So it is a translucent and yellow-white wavy solid, and it glows in the dark and ignite instantly upon contact with the air. That's why it is basically used for illumination and targeting in the conflict zone. That is the basic purpose of it. But it is extremely toxic to human, and it causes severe burns to the skin and deep tissues, and causing the major internal damage if inhaled or ingested. That's why it is very hazardous. But it is not explicitly banned but prohibited under international humanitarian law. So here the context is that this report has highlighted, or the Human Rights Watch has claimed, that the Israel have used the white phosphorus in Lebanon in a residential area. Now let us move to the next quick update, and the last quick update for today. It is about the National Highway Green Cover Index. It is released by NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, in collaboration with the National Remote Sensing Center of ISRO, released the inaugural, this is the inaugural National Highway Green Cover Index for 2025-26. And in this index, they have covered around 30,000 kilometers of national highway across 24 states for the period between July to December of 2024. And what it will track? It will track year-on-year green cover improvement across the national highway. And this year report, as this is the inaugural report, will act as a baseline. And then they will see, is there any improvement or there is degradation in the green highways or the green cover. And they have used the satellite-based methodology by detecting the chlorophyll content via high-resolution satellite center of ResourceSat 2 and 2A and Cartosat 2S. In previous year examination, UPSC has asked, can satellite be used for tracking the chlorophyll or the plantation? So such type of information is also asked in the prelims examination. So with this, we have completed the news today discussion for today. You can visit our digital current affairs website to look into the various digital current affairs of Vision IAS, and please solve the questions which are visible on your screen. Thank you and all the best for your preparation.